Hi everyone. Have you ever thought, wow, my partner could use some empathy training. He doesn't seem to get it. Or he doesn't even care about me. Or she doesn't understand me. I don't know what she wants. With two different human beings in a relationship, we're definitely going to have some differences in our communication styles, our feelings, and our needs. Today I want to help you fill in some of those gaps by sharing with you some of the top relational skills that people feel understood and closer when they use. I'm really excited to share with you some of these foundational relationship skills that can help you start enjoying more peace and connection in your relationship even today. You've likely heard of these terms and have practiced some of them, maybe even very well. So I would love for you to share some of your wisdom you've learned about these topics. Throughout this video, add in the comments below even just a quick phrase or definition that you've heard about these concepts. I know some of us struggle with showing empathy and validating other people, so take your time with what I'm sharing with you today. If this was never modeled to you in your family growing up, or with your friends, coworkers, or other relationships, these concepts are foreign. So give yourself some grace today, and knowing you don't need to know all these things today. All right, here we go. Our first unnatural relationship skill we can learn is acceptance. This can be one of the hardest things to do, but we really do need to start here. We've probably let a lot of little things get to us over the course of our relationship. Those things have built up enough to produce this barrier between us and our most important person. So taking a little time to think about some of those minor irritations and frustrations you have about your partner and working on accepting them and letting them go can go a long way in preventing unnecessary tension and distance. But I want you to hear me right now. With acceptance, it's not tolerating mean or abusive behavior or putting up with constant emotional pain and neglect. You'll hear me talk about how to move through those difficulties in other videos. The video on emotional safety, which I will link up to in the description, goes into more detail about this. But what I'm talking about here in regard to acceptance is more like stripping away all the noise, all the stuff that gets in the way and may have negatively shaped our view toward our partner. And this is the work we have to do on the individual level to help free up some space in our heart so we can better engage in these next loving behaviors. All right, unnatural relationship skill number 2 is empathy. You've likely heard this word many times, either as something you're missing and longed for, or when you've recognized this beautiful display of compassion in action. But what is empathy really? We've heard that it's putting ourselves into someone else's shoes and trying to feel what it feels like for somebody else. In the least, we're stepping out of ourselves and entering into someone else's experience. Here are some of my thoughts on empathy. Empathy is demonstrating a quiet and loving curiosity as we seek to understand what the world is like for another person in this little slice of time. We are fully present with them and do our best to put aside our own thoughts and feelings and behaviors. And that moment is not really about us. We will have our turn later. But showing up even just a little bit more often and perhaps better than we ever have in the past can create a sense of hope as we feel some of our deepest longings being fulfilled in real time when someone shows us empathy. Empathy closely relates to the next unnatural relationship skill, and that is validation. Now, if you hear the word validation and your mind goes to getting your parking ticket stamped, that's okay. Often we hear the word validation as a stamp of approval or somebody totally agreeing with us. And that's really not what validation means in a relationship. I like to think of validation as the bridge. Validation is the exact pathway that can connect one person to another. If we want to validate somebody, we have to listen to understand. When we genuinely seek to understand what someone else thinks or feels or needs, we can create an instant connection. Our walls come down and we can really reach for each other. Think of that as whenever you're not understanding each other and you're in a frustrating argument where you're just spinning your wheels and feeling further and further apart, to just slow down and take turns trying to hear where your partner's coming from. If you both have the space for your voice in these delicate moments and feel heard, I guarantee you will walk away from that interaction feeling more connected. All right, how are you doing so far? Let me know what you think about acceptance, empathy, and validation in the comments below. Share with our community here about what it means for you when someone accepts how or who you are, and what it feels like to receive empathy and feel validated. I think the more practical ideas we have from each other, the better we can experience our relationships. Do you agree with me? Okay, now on to number 4, affection. Some of us are just more naturally affectionate than others. It just seems to be part of their personality and how their body moves. Some of us have to work on it a little harder. Our facial expressions send so many messages, and our romantic partner is going to be hyper vigilant to those signals. Even our frustrated face can send the wrong signals that we're disappointed in someone and really not be the message we're trying to send. A lot of couples can get stuck here by feeling hurt and then maybe spinning into a heated argument because of an incorrect assumption. One quick thing we can do is look in the mirror. Sometimes our neutral face appears angry or unapproachable. If we're not ready to fake it till we make it with smiling, we can always just ask our partner about the signals we're picking up from them. We might say something like, "You seem annoyed or frustrated." Simply checking in can really help clarify what someone's thinking and feeling on the spot before we're off and running with inaccurate information. Adding the word "seem" is really important because most people don't like to be told what they think or feel. Saying, "Why are you angry at me?" is very different than saying with a softer tone, "You seem upset. What's going on?" Of course, other caring displays of affection can help us stay connected when we're not doing so well with our words, or to supplement verbal compliments. These nonverbal actions, such as hugging or caressing, holding hands, putting your arms around each other, reminds us that we're a couple. Talk about that with each other and see if you can take one small step here, or discuss what you're already doing that feels good and keep doing it. Let's move on to unnatural relationship skill number 5. That is service. We can serve each other every day without even opening our mouths. This could take the form of helping wash the dishes, cleaning up around the house, just being a good roommate. It's going out of our way to think of our partner's best interests and making their lives just a little bit easier. In addition to the practical side of serving, we need to also serve our partner emotionally. Sometimes that's just being aware of what they're feeling, like we learned with empathy and validation, and giving them some space. But giving someone space doesn't always require physical separation. We can sit in an intimate silence by removing all the other background noise and distractions, move past the awkward of the silence, and hang out for a while in the comfortable silences. Doing that, we are being present to help our partner process and share their thoughts and feelings, or to allow them to just be. As soon as people feel heard and they have the space to be, they usually feel better, and there's often a more peaceful, connected feeling in the immediate environment. Now on to our last and very important relationship skill, compliments. Sometimes we forget to point out the positive things that are going on. Maybe this is also something that doesn't come natural to you. If you're not in the practice of expressing your thoughts or sharing positive things that you notice in your partner, you're not alone. Just like empathy, sometimes this just comes more naturally to other people. But this is a really practical skill that we can all develop. When our partner knows that you're considering them, they feel seen and important. They feel cared for. So this can simply start with building an awareness throughout the day of things that you appreciate. Maybe you notice a skill that your partner does very well, or feel happy about how they've served you. Think of how to sum up in one sentence that starts with "thank you." This could be something like, "Thank you for helping keep our house clean," or "I really appreciate that you went out of your way to cook a great dinner tonight," or "Thank you for giving me eye contact when we were talking yesterday. It meant a lot to me." As you can see, taking this step to point out something good that our partner is already doing can really reinforce the other 5 skills mentioned earlier. Great, we did it. Think about these 6 skills and come back to this video to get a refresher. I added the timestamp in the description below so you can always easily jump to the skill you want a refresher on. Still, I know some of these topics deserve way more attention than what I give them in this short video. I'll definitely be giving you more ideas in future videos, and I'd love to hear from you. Type in the comments below the relationship topics you want me to cover. And make sure you click subscribe and tap the bell so you'll be notified when my next video comes out. Make sure you take care of yourself and each other today, and I'll see you next time.